Uh, NO in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Hello? Uh,
I'm not sure.
person in Ohio, going once, going twice.
Oh, hey, could you guys hear me?
Hello.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Wow.
You just made it under the wire.
Wow.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Doing all right. Is there, should we just refer to you as NO? Is that what you would like us to refer to you
Let
as?
me explain. I'm a recent convert from Islam to
Okay.
atheism, so it's kind of a new experience, and I'll prefer to kind of take it slow into everything.
No problem. No problem. I was just talking about for the purpose of this conversation, should we refer to you as NO or?
And oh, yes.
Okay.
That'll
Okay.
work. Yeah, no, I'm probably not going to add anything new. I'm just recently I've started to think for myself for once, and it's all been said, and I'm experiencing things where, like, oh my God, this amazing intellectual person said something that I believed in, 2 months, like I just believed in right now and figured it out, and I'm kind of making comparisons. So it's very really cool experience, and I was just going to list a few reasons why I, got away and converted. And again, it's probably not going to be anything new, but it's kind of a nice empowering from my side to just share that a little bit.
Before
And
you
if I
do
get
that,
too
can
long-winded,
I ask what
yeah.
kind of like family background you come from? That you were a Muslim in Ohio?
Well, I actually did grow up in a Middle Eastern country, and I came here for college.
Okay.
And
Well, that was your
I
first
lived-
mistake.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience, and I lived. I know it's very important to understand the background because some people can have, weak introduction to the religion. Some people can be very, very strongly introduced, and that does make a difference. But I was going to pray every every Friday, and learning the Quran in school, and fluent in Arabic and both reading and writing and so forth. And so that's the background. I hope that answers your question.
Okay.
Yeah. So go on.
No, so again, it's just an empowering move for me, and I fell in love with you guys' channel. I'm just gobbling all the material up. So I think the biggest trigger for me was the dramatic nature of all religions, as in it's there's too much drama going on. Why do all this when you just have a direct, straight line to us and just make things a lot more simpler? And then I realized that humans are the ones that really like drama. They like myth. They like to be human-centric in their views. And just kind of flick the light. It's like, this definitely could be man-made because it would be so much simpler if it wasn't that way. And that was the beginning of it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about religion, as opposed to things we discover through scientific inquiry, is that science tries to converge more and more on a consensus by gathering more data to support the same point. Religion seems to sort of spread out in the opposite way, where if two religious people disagree, instead of coming up with some sort of definitive way of concluding who's right and then trying to move more towards what the tests say is correct, they just split off and break up into their own groups where they can keep saying that they've got the one truth. And so over time, religion just keeps branching out more and more because people just keep making more stuff up.
Exactly. And the stakes are so high, too. It's an amazing system where you're always threatened by some sort of eternal doom, and you just can't question anything because you're so scared. I mean, sometimes I sit down here and I'm like, am I making the right decision? And I keep thinking, as long as I'm researching and trying my best to research and take the right choice, then there's really nothing else I can do. It's my brain, the way it is, and this is how I'm going to think about it. And if that's what I'm going to think about, there's no other way to change it. And to me, it's just such a belief to just go from that perspective. And I think you also kind of might have touched on this, which is, what are the chances of these physical miracles stop happening as soon as we get more modernized and educated, and we can actually sniff out the BS from the truth. I just recently been following, he's been around for a while, like James Randi, and how he used to, he doesn't like the word debunk, but he can smell the BS, and all of a sudden we don't have walking on water. We don't have these miracles that we would otherwise could have happened. There's no reason to do it, not to do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that absence of evidence is always evidence of absence, but Tracy has talked on the show before about an event where allegedly in Mexico, I think 150 years ago, at the miracle of Fatima, the sun actually moved across the sky while a bunch of people watched. And I'm just saying, if something like that happened today, you could bet there would be 50 recordings of it on YouTube within 10 minutes. And it's weird that they seem to disappear or get more and more vague and abstract and have worse and worse camera work the better the technology gets for proving stuff.
Yeah, 100%, exactly. And it's one of these things where, if something like this exists, people are going to jump on it right away, like you said, and it's just going to be. That's what people want. That's what we're asking for, is that true evidence, and we're just not getting it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I remember talking about that on one of the first shows that I did, that if we actually were able to discover, just not even say a deity, but say a supernatural realm of some type, it would be just this earth-shattering thing. It would just be news around the world, papers, documentaries made about it. It would be Nobel Prizes handed out like pancakes because we made this new scientific discovery that the supernatural realm exists, or a new deity exists, and this is how it exists, and this is how it happens. It's not that we don't want that knowledge. It's just that we haven't found any evidence to support such a claim that a deity or the supernatural exists at all. But if we did, I'll be all over it. Like, just give me more of that. Like, it would be amazing to see. That's a whole new field of science right there. A whole new physics. Like, it could be incredible, but there's been no evidence thus far. So.
Exactly. And I think hopefully the biggest, one of the most valuable thing I've learned from people like Sean Carroll and James Randi, is that you're not supposed to be a cynic about it. You're supposed to be open-minded and just look at the evidence. And if the evidence strongly says, well, this doesn't happen, then don't say it's never going to happen. If it happens, then approach it with open mind and try to look for reasonable evidence. Don't just blindly go into it as well. So there's a little balance, and you don't want to come out as arrogant to say, no, there's no way I believe in it, even if it's true. But you also don't want to be the gullible person that just falls for, a psychic or something. And some people just lose this kind of balance, I think.
Yeah. I got one more question for you before we move on, but I just wanted to ask, being an ex-Muslim, I'm wondering if many of your friends and family found out, and how did they react to that?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Nobody knows, honestly, except my non-Muslim friends and family. It's a very tough decision. I mean, I'm going to admit this. Growing up, and I'm not like this right now. Actually, I've not been this since I came to the States, quite frankly. So, but in Egypt, I would look condescending at homosexuality. It wasn't something that's not unusual. And then recently I realized, is this what a person that's trying to come out feels like? This is a horrible experience, because you're just sitting there and don't know what to do. You feel estranged. You feel like as soon as you come out, hopefully now this doesn't happen, but it not to the more far past that used to happen, where you come out and a lot of negative impact can happen. So it's just a very interesting experience. But nobody knows.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, it still does happen with some. Just with people coming out as homosexual or bisexual, it does happen on that side. It just depends on where you're from and what kind people you have around you. It's unfortunate that it
Exactly.
does, but there's some services like, the Trevor Project was an awesome hotline for LGBT youths that kind of felt like they had nowhere to go or had no support, that type of thing. So it still does happen on that side, unfortunately, but my experience wasn't too bad compared to others that I've heard about, and it was honestly me hearing about other people's worst experiences with it that made me wait so long before declaring it outright to family. And so it was a long, arduous process over years, maybe 4 years or so, between high school going into college. But once I got there, then things turned out more or less okay, and it became better. And it's a lot better now since I'm coming out, since I came out as atheist, and that kind of made things that made the first one not seem as hard, because coming out as atheist was harder than coming out as gay. And if you would have told me that back when I was in high school and college, I wouldn't have necessarily believed that, but that's just the way it kind of went. It's just the way my family was, as religious as we were on both sides. Everything that I've been exposed to, every family function, everything had a very large religious theme to it, and so just the way it went. Anyway, but I'm rambling, so let me let you get back.
Yeah,
no, I
well,
can ramble for hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe I'll save a few questions for next week. But I did want to just thank you guys for your efforts, and thank you for putting out the word. And again, it doesn't mean that everything is off the table. It just means that we're just going to try hard to find the truth, and
Sure.
we're not going to fall for the supernatural.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling, Chuck. And I always find it inspiring when people in very severe information limiting kind of oppressive religions work their way out of it. So thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you for calling.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
All right, take care of yourself.
Have a good day.
Bye.
You too.